So spur of the moment, decided to go hit up Asa because he was like, going hit him up in the inbox for anyone that wanted to know about the agriculture thing he doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, hey, come through after work, Aki. Get there.
Live.
Okay.
Well, what happened?
Get there and realize that the card for my camera is in my computer.
Oh, so you had nothing to record? Nobody had a SD card they could let you borrow?
I mean,
I done had that happen. I had to drive all the way back home to get it because I done forgot it.
wow. But the thing is that
you just forgot the memory card.
I guess it'll help in the future, like, you know, just have extra memory cards sitting around.
Yeah, you do. You need to have it in your bag, in your camera.
Or like, so that if I'm editing one, I can leave it in the computer and just have an extra one.
Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and open up with a prayer.
I think it's picking up too.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we face the east towards Jerusalem. Abba Father, Yahweh, Elohim, Allah of Abraham, Yashak, and Yaakov. Covenant Father, Elohim of Yasharal, we thank you, Yahweh, once again for your mercy, Yahweh, and bringing us to another day, Yahweh, bringing us into another study session, Yah. We ask, Yah, that you empower us with your spirit of understanding so we can rightly divide these scriptures, Yahweh, and not mislead anyone or ourselves, Yahweh. And we ask that you also allow us to gain some insight, Yahweh, into something new within ourselves that we need to change or work on, Yahweh, and give us the food and the power and the resources to do something about it, Yahweh, since we have put our time to come together, Yahweh, to study this word to glorify you, Yah. We make that petition, Yahweh, in humility. Yah, we also ask, Yah, that you give us the strength, Yahweh, that you give us the courage, Yahweh, to continue in this walk, for it only gets harder as you get further in this walk, Yahweh, and it's not easy at any point. But we are faithful, Yahweh, that you will give us the strength to make it through. So with that in mind, Yahweh, we continue to take these steps forward, Yahweh, and don't fear the chastening that may come before us or the falls that may come before us, Yahweh. For we understand when we get back up and we continue on that walk, and if we endure to the end, Yahweh, we give you the highest glory. So, Yah, all these things we humbly come before you and ask and pray not only for us, but for all your children across the four corners of the earth, Yahweh, that the covenant keepers, Yahweh, the commandment keepers, Yah. For them we also pray. These things we pray in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach. Amen. Yeah, that's the that repetition, man. Just practicing and being used to being in media. You'll always remember those things. I remember when we first started streaming, I forget to cut the audio on, and it just takes repetition. The more you do it, you get more sharper, more wise in your trade.
But I mean, being that it was a first time visit, I guess it'll help.
It's gonna be ingrained into your brain.
Yeah.
Next time.
No, I mean, like being there, actually, so you don't just show up and like tell me everything.
Right.
Now it's like we have a relationship. Right. We've exchanged, and these are the topics we should talk about.
Right.
In the future.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. Said that I had to just go check the audio.
Make sure that it was up.
Make sure that joint was up. All right. Shalom. My name is Yadon Yasharal, my brother Yonatan Yasharal. Shalom. And the title of today's Bible study is Faint or Fearless. Faint or Fearless. And one thing that we're going to find in this situation, being in this word, in this walk, in this time, is you're going to be faced with adversity. and you're going to be put into situations, and we're going to find ourselves in situations we put ourselves in. And how we operate in that situation a lot of times is the lesson. It's also the blessing in that as well. We want to train ourselves to rely on the Spirit, to not feel that we have to physically overcome everything on our own, but understand that there's a portion that's according to Yah's will, that no matter what you do, you're not going to change anything about that. So what you can do is put yourself on the side of Yah, where you would expect a blessing, you would expect a righteous outcome, because you are focusing on the things that you have control over, which is your own decision making, your own choices that you make, and how it relates to righteousness. So we want to always make sure that when we're in adversity, we understand these are proving times. Yah doesn't tempt people. He proves people. He tries people. And his servants, he's definitely going to try them, because he wants us to manifest into the end result, which he sees, the finished product. So we're going to take a look at that concept about, not fainting in adversity, remaining fearless, even in fearful situations. There's nothing wrong with fear, of having a fear of something, a concern. It's a danger. Danger is real, but you don't have to make decisions that are against righteousness out of fear just because you're afraid. There's no law or anything in the universe that says that you have to do that. That's simply a choice. And often not, because who's in control ultimately? The Most High. So you can't even guarantee you're going to get the outcome you want to get. And when we saw the servants that put that to the test, they made it on the side of righteousness by holding on to that faith. So we're going to open up first in Proverbs, Mishlei chapter 24. And shalom, Sister Cassandra Sanchez. Shalom, Sis Kim Marie. Good to see you, family. And shalom, as always, Sister Tafara. Again, the title of the Bible study is Faint or Fearless. We're going to open up in Proverbs, Mishlei chapter 24, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Be not you envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their heart studies destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. For by wise counsel you shall make your war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety.
Okay, so in a multitude of counselors there is safety. So when you're in a time of adversity, understanding that you are more likely to be a vessel easier to hold fear, which can alter your decision making, it's smart to listen to the counsel of multiple wise people. And I think you even did a post about creating a council. Well, paraphrase what you were saying. I thought it was a very wise suggestion.
Well, us all knowing and being aware of our ignorance, if we want to combat our ignorance and not be out here just naked, pull together a group of wise counsel, and even make sure that you have some people over 50
right
in there, because even if they're not spiritual or studious, there's things that they had to have learned by default just out of experience in life.
Right. And that's the safety. Does that mean that you have to listen to every last one of them? No. But consider wisdom from different sources before you make a wise decision. Because a wise man will have to, somebody who considers themselves wise has to first become a fool so that they can have true wisdom. So they have to say, look, I know the answer to this, but let me act as if I'm a fool and don't know anything, and let me hear counsel from wise people. And then, you know what? Your decision may have been a good decision and a right decision, but somebody might have had a better decision that can help more people or affect more people or have less results against you, So when you trust that, you're saying, okay, I'm going to listen, and you're also exercising your discernment.
to hear other people, what they have to say. And you're also getting to know your brothers and sisters and what kind of counsel they're going to give.
You know, a tiny meditation about that. You know, Moshe ended up getting rebuked, so to speak, or admonished on behalf of Yethro. You know, when Yethro heard his plans about, if people have the issue, they just come to me and I'll tell them. Yethro was like, what are you doing, man? You're not, this is way too much for you.
Right.
Appoint some folks that's going to handle it so that some of the responsibility is dispersed among you.
Right.
And think about if it ever occurs in our lifetime where authority or sovereignty is turned from Gentile nations unto us. Are we even prepared to rule righteously, or are we even prepared to address everything that Gentile nations are doing right now? You're dealing with healthcare, you're dealing with crime, you're dealing with child abuse cases, you're dealing with taxing, there's so much going on in law enforcement and stuff like that. The worst thing somebody could do is step up and be like, I'm gonna handle everything.
Right.
That's like suicide, because we've seen it in African nations where people allow arrogance to lead them, and they'll be like, "No, I'm gonna be the dictator." And you just turn into a dictator,
right?
But if you make sure to be like, "All right, you know what? The wise thing to do is let me assemble," just like the scriptures say, appoint over 100, appoint over 50, appoint over 10,000s, and then have yourself in close communion with those heads and those generals and those leaders and things of that nature. And even if you are one of the generals, make sure you in close communication with those around you, so everyone sort of gets on one accord, because the pressure is going to want everyone to be like, yo, bro, I need to know how is this done, or how is this done. Right. I think that even though we're not, in full control of everything, is good to like even just meditate on, what if this really happened? Are we even ready to cover it?
It says, well, why are you going to the law with your brother?
Yeah.
Don't you know you're going to judge angels? I mean, you can't judge the smallest matters. Y'all have the judgment here. Y'all giving the laws. They trying to figure it out. So this is something that we have to first practice. When Yahshua said, judge yourself, practice in making the right decisions in your own life, and then be a wise counsel for somebody else and accept wise counsel. Indeed. Because a lot of wise counsel we give out is counsel we've accepted and received from somebody else. Truly. That eventually trickled down, came from this book some kind of way. Shalom, or Shalom, sis Alma Olvera, good to see you. And Shalom, sis Aquanet Thompson, good to see you as well.
Verse 7, Proverbs, Mishlei, chapter 24 and verse 7. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He opens not his mouth in the gate. He that devises to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. If you forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain. If you say, behold, we knew not, does not he that ponders the heart consider it? And he that keeps your soul, does not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works?
So you notice how he blocks that together. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Okay, so that's a pretty general statement. Then it says, if you forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, which means they're in their sin. And if they don't come out of that sin, there's death, period. And it says, and those that are ready to be slain, that means they're sin all the way into their own death, where they're going to have a judgment on their head. If you say, behold, we knew it not, does not Yahweh who ponders the heart consider it? So you can't act like you ain't know this or that this person just happened to fall upon this person. The Most High is judging you in your heart already, because he knows you knew better, but you choose not to say something or do something because, you were tired of helping people or tired of telling people stuff and they don't listen. So let's look at that Hebrew word for faint. If we look at that Hebrew word for faint, it's Rapha, which is H7503. Rapha, spelled R-A-P-H A-H. And that's a primitive root to slacken in many applications, literally or figuratively. Abate, cease, consume, draw, fail, faint, be feeble, forsake, idle, leave, let alone, slack, stay, be still, be slothful, weaken. So we see if you stop Faint doesn't necessarily mean you passed out. That's what we take it as, oh, I fainted in English. No, faint is when you slacken, when you're supposed to keep your hand on the plow and you pull back. He says nobody putting their hand on the plow and turning away is worthy for the kingdom. So we are not to loosen up or slacken. And this just shows you our culture. It's just like with words when it says, remember the Shabbat. It don't mean, well, I recall that today was the Sabbath day, but I'm still going to the mall. Nah, remember involves recall and honor that and guard that. Well, it's the same thing here. They're using this term faint. When you faint, you refuse to do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to continue on. Go ahead.
Verse 13. My son, eat you honey because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to your taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto your soul when you have found it. Then there shall be a reward, and your expectation shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falls 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief.
So that's the difference. The wicked is going to faint in the time of adversity. You know, oh, this is too hard. You know, I'm just a wicked person. I'm just cool with that. You know, hey, God knows my heart. I just do bad things. Don't keep the commandments, but I really love him. Nah. That person finna fall and stay in their hole. Matter of fact, every time they see their hole, they gonna fall in their hole because they like the way it feels to the flesh. But it says a righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up. That means he's fallen 1, you're getting back up. Fallen 2, you're getting back up. Fallen 3, fallen 4, fallen 5, fallen 6, fallen 7, then he gets back up. He's gonna continue pushing. Just like when you see somebody in a fight and they just keep getting knocked down. They like, stay down, stay down. This brother's like, nah, I will defend the honor of my wife or woman, my mother or whatever to the end. That's how we supposed to be. We supposed to defend this seat, this spot, this place that Yahshua said, I prepared a place for you. We supposed to defend that like we defend our car. Somebody trying to steal our rims. Somebody trying to steal our money. We supposed to defend it like that, which means when we righteous. What makes us righteous is not that we fell 7 times. It's that we got back up. This is why we can't rafa in times of adversity. And that adversity doesn't have to be just yours. It could be somebody else's adversity and you slacking up. They going through something. Be like, you know, I ain't going to say nothing to it because they going through something. Nah. Why are they going through something? If they keep making a mistake and they going through something and they down, maybe that's even more of a time to tighten up. Be like, listen. Look at what's going on. You need to consider and ponder on these things. Not say, you know what, he don't really want to hear what I got to say because he's already upset because he's in adversity and blah, blah, blah. No, that's when you're supposed to be strong. Increase belongs to Yah. That's not your pay grade.
Verse 17, rejoice not when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles. Lest Yahweh see it and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him.
Lest Yahweh see it and displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. So how you act towards your enemies can cause harm to your enemies, because Yahweh dealing with an enemy may be the thing to turn that enemy into a family member or into a friend, because chastening is how we turn turn around the corner. It wasn't because we just said, you know, everything is going great, so I'm going to start doing righteousness. So we don't want to enjoy those type of things. And shalom, Brother Luke, is cool. Good to see you, fam.
Verse 19, fret not yourself because of evil men, neither be you envious at the wicked, for there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. My son, fear you Yahweh and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knows the ruin of them both.
And meddle, what it means by meddle, we see here, like don't meddle in their business. Don't say nothing because, they're changing. That's not what that means. If you look up that Strong's word, meddle in that sense, the Hebrew sense meant not to yoke yourself. Don't yoke yourself to that. Matter of fact, pull that number up. Let's get that definition.
H6148.
H6148. Arab. And that's to braid. That is to intermix, technically traffic, like Arab. Also to give or be security, engage, mingle, meddle, mortgage, occupy, give pledges, be put surety, undertake. So that's yoking yourself some kind of way. You're putting yourself in that responsibility. No, you're not responsible for somebody else's actions. Once they're given to change, I'm sold to sin. That's what I want to do. You on there on your own. I can't walk that walk. That's the walk where two can only walk together if they agree. And I don't agree to break this covenant. And I don't agree that you should break the covenant. And I don't agree with justifying somebody that want to break the covenant. I can't walk with you from this point. That's what it means, meddle. It don't mean don't leave them alone. Don't say nothing to them. That's what people will take. And they wrote that like that for a reason, to cause confusion. Go ahead.
Verse 23.
And shalom, Gishiko. Good to see you, sis. Shalom, sis King and brother King over there in Augusta. And shalom, Yehuda Yasharal. Good to see you, fam.
Verse 23. These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. He that says unto the wicked, you are righteous, him shall the people curse, nations shall abhor him. But to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon them.
And this is why we shouldn't faint into adversity, because not only can we deliver somebody from death, do the works, because y'all going to deliver them, but we can do the works to help them be delivered from death. But then also a blessing will come unto you as well, because you saving y'all's children. You think if you saw my kids running and they was about to run across the street and get hit by a car and you grabbed them, there wouldn't be a reward for me? You'd have my loyalty for life. Man, you done saved my child. So it's not only about the blessing that can come on that person, but there's a blessing that can come into your house, or at least even out some of your sin debt so that you can kind of get over there on the positive side.
Verse 24.
26.
Verse 26. Every man shall kiss his lips that gives a right answer. Prepare your work without, and make it fit for yourself in the field, and afterwards build your house. Be not a witness against your neighbor without cause, and deceive not with your lips. Say not, I will do so to him as he has done to me. I will render to the man according to his work.
And that right there was another example of fainting in adversity. And, this is something that I had to work on, and I'm still working on. I fainted in adversity when we talked about that story. I was in an adversarial situation, and whereas I would have counseled anybody else to be able to deal with that situation, like I've dealt with it many times, but because it happened to me and it caught me at the right moment, and it was close enough to my, to touch my family, I was a little bit more aggressive, and that was adversity. That was a time for me to remain a priest and less a big brother, more of a priest, but I fainted in times of adversity. So it doesn't always have to be some big bad situation. It could also be when your flesh or your pride is tested. That's also adversity. It doesn't have to always be this big horrible time coming. It could be something as simple as how you deal with somebody when you angry, or when you tired, or when you upset, or when you've been sad, you're stressed out, you're feeling sick. Those are all times of adversity, and these are opportunities for the devil to show up and try to get you to get something on your account that you don't want. So we got to keep those things in mind.
Mm-hmm. Verse 30. I went by the field of the man void of understanding, and lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall your poverty come as a man that traveleth, and your want as an armed man.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to Bereshit, Genesis chapter 25. And the thing is about fainting in adversity is you never know the outcome until after. You don't know how serious something is. Something could look as small as, forget this brother. I ain't gonna have no respect for him. Who's this guy think he is? You know what? I'm just not having it today. I'm not feeling like it. I'm not dealing with it. And you think, this guy not gonna do nothing. You go to the car, next thing you know, this man comes out and shoot. Look at the guy that just got killed the other day. The black guy arguing the black woman in the car parking in the handicapped spot, the white man getting mad, approaching the woman. And here come the husband. Oh, this is a light work. This is my wife. How dare you come in? I don't care what she did. And I completely understand the sentiment. I don't care what she did. I'll deal with that. You deal with me. So he came there and he pushed the man down or whatever and ended up getting shot. That was your time of adversity. You fainted. Both parties. The guy who shot him fainted too. That was his time of adversity. So we don't know how big a matter can be and how life-changing a matter could be until after the results of it. So we got to treat each time of adversity like we have been training for endurance, so that we're prepared no matter how long the run is. We don't know if the run is going to be a mile run or a 26-mile run, a marathon. You don't know that. So you got to train for that 26-mile marathon. Bereshit, Genesis chapter 25. We're going to start this at verse 19.
And these are the generations of Yitzchak, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Yitzchak, and Yitzchak was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Yitzchak entreated Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. So
just looking at this, Yahweh does a lot of things metaphoric. You see, you have 2 twins, same father and mother in the belly. They can't mess this up. Like, they try to say, Cain and Abel had different dads. The devil done slept with her. No, you can't mess this one up. Same mother and father. Same exact bloodline. 2 different manner of people. One is of the flesh and the other of the spirit. It didn't matter what the bloodline was of either of them, because they were the same bloodline. But one is adopting a spirit. Another is not adopting that spirit. Go ahead.
Verse 24, And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red and all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Yitzchak was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Yitzchak loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray you, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day your birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am appointed to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore to him.
Would he have died likely because he went out to hunt one day?
No.
He was fasting so long and then went out to hunt the last day of his life that he would be able to fast, and then he was just going to die if he didn't eat right away? No. But to his mind, that's what he feels. And that's what the flesh feels like. I'm going to die if I just don't steal this thing. I'm going to die if I don't just lie about this. I'm going to die if I get embarrassed about this. I'm going to lie. I'm going to die if I just don't have this man or this woman or whatever this. No, that's what the flesh is telling you, because it's going to say what it got to say to get what it want right then and there. And the spiritual man probably would have shared some pottage with him anyway. Man, you my brother. What brother gonna say, I'm cooking some pottage, my brother over here hungry, I ain't gonna give him none? Mm-hmm. That's a wicked man. Even as children, we wouldn't like. Children share. Same father, same mother, twins? Come on now. We know that's not likely. But he knew that this man is so carnal that rather than wait for me to give him something, he'll give up anything so that he can demand and make sure that he get whatever carnal thing he want right now. And he don't care What spiritual thing? Because he's not getting the benefit of that spiritual thing right now. So that's why people throw their salvation away, because they're not getting the benefit right now. No, I want this right now, what I can touch, feel, taste, hear, see. I want that right now. That other thing, yeah, I don't even know if I really believe in it, because I can't touch, taste, feel, hear, or smell that right now. That's the two manner of people. The Esau-like that hates his brother with no cause, despising his birthright, will trade anything just to satisfy his flesh right now. And then the spiritual man, left and the right. Go ahead. And that's it, right? Let's move on. Let's go to Devarim chapter 20. We see how when we are weak and when we face adversity, how easily this can affect other people. That's why we were talking about on Shabbat, you know, that truth music, how it affects people. You know, if this secular music can affect us and make us cry or make us really angry and want to fight in the club or make us drive our car real fast or get us real happy when we're down, that means we're influenced by these things. So if we pump righteousness into us and give the same type of good vibe and good frequency feeling, it can influence us in the right way. So that's how you can positively utilize it. But it's also utilized in a negative sense when you bring that fear and that doubt and that lack of faith around people. It affects people, especially if somebody is already on the fence, but they're like, no, I'm fighting this flesh. I'm going to let this spirit rule. And here you come with some more, putting a heavier load on them.
Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 20 and verse 1. When you go out to battle against your enemies and see horses and chariots and people more than you, be not afraid of them. For Yahweh your Elohim is with you, which brought you up out of the land of Mitzrayim.
All right, so this doesn't have to be for us to go out there and see chariots and horses and people more than us. This is when we go out in the world and you see everything out there against us. Everything out there that wants to punish us for doing the right thing. Everything out there that is fleshly and can be easily inhabited by evil spirits that don't like your spirit. That's why you can be around some people and they just dislike you for no reason or just staring you down for no reason. They demons don't like your spirit, especially if you're trying to keep your spirit in righteousness. Go ahead.
And it shall be when you come near unto the battle that the priests shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Yasharal, approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint. Fear not, and do not tremble, neither be you terrified because of them. For Yahweh your Elohim is he that goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you.
So we have to show up so Yah can do his thing and get his glory. Yah has all the ability in the world to just go to, don't need a man, woman, or nothing, and just say, woo, and knock down a whole crowd of people, turn them to dust like he did Sodom and Gomorrah. He's got all the power to do. They don't need us. But he's trying to show an example. Look how powerful I can make a people that follow my instructions and keep my ways. Look how nothing can touch them. Look how I destroy anything that comes around them when they do what I tell them to do. He can't do that without having some people. So he chose us to do that. And he said, and not only that, I'm going to give you the best payment. I'm going to pay you more than every other employer. But no, we take the money. Yeah, give me it. And we start spending the check, writing checks, doing all kind of things, getting ourselves in debt, but then want to renege on the promise and then think that he going to renege on the contract. Nah, he still got it at the end. Yeah, you're going to get your blessings if you get it, but oh, you're going to get these curses first.
Verse 4. For Yahweh your Elohim is he that goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. And the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that has built a new house, and has not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. And what man is he that has planted a vineyard, and has not yet eaten of it? Let him go also, and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man eat of it. And what man is there that has betrothed a wife, and has not taken her? Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her. And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, What man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return unto his house, lest his brethren's heart faint as well as his heart.
So the priest goes down the list and excusing all the people that may fight, kind of like, not that they're afraid, but they kind of got something else on their mind and they're a little more extra nervous about fighting, with the sword, because I got a situation going on. My mind is on my family. Somebody gonna take my wife and have kids if I die out here. Let them go home so their mind can be on Yah doing what they need to do. And once you excuse the people that would do it, but they're just in a situation, then you say, all right, flat out, all the people that's just scared, go home. I have more respect for you to have enough courage to step up and say, I'm a coward. I'm fearful. I got the spirit of fear on me. Rather than get y'all killed and get myself killed, it's better that I just step out. Now, you ain't finna get no respect, but at least you ain't killing people, causing other people to be afraid, or you running up. And when we in position and we right-handed of each other, we're shoulder to shoulder, and we have our shields and we're stabbing. Mm-hmm. And one is supposed to be blocking the other, and we protecting each other. And he's afraid. He turn around and I get shot and stabbed and hit on my side because you afraid. Mm-hmm. Now we down. Who's protecting the guy next to you and the next to you? It affects each other. Same thing in this walk. With us that know who we are, and we go through the same trials and tribulations everybody else goes to. We just go through it in the word, and it's broadcast because we're the face of this word, because we know who we are. Everybody looking at us, because everybody else, they don't know who they are. They just attributed themselves to a whole continent. We can tell you where we from. So when we are there, we on display, and people are watching us. And if they say, man, these are Hebrews, these are the ones that's supposed to be the commandment keepers. If they are truly the children of the Most High and truly relatives of Christ, then that's the example. And that's what they do. They do the same thing we do. That's why I don't mess with that stuff. Because, they just like anybody else. When the heat cut on, they going to fall just like everybody else. So I'm good right here. God know my heart.
Mm-hmm. Verse 9, And it shall be when the officers have made an end of speaking unto the people, that they shall make captains of the armies to lead the people.
And then you make your leaders. After you got the cowards up out of here, after you got the people that can't commit because of a situation, now you pick your captains. Now you pick your leaders. That's why you can't just pick somebody and be like, you're going to be my right-hand man. You're going to do everything. He been in the heat. You see how this person move? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been on a mat with this person? If you're going to make somebody physical to be with you, you don't know how this person throws a punch. Can they throw a punch? Can they take a punch? Are they cowards? Are they going to run away when it's time to get into the ring? You need to see this before you make a right-hand man, physically or spiritually. What is he going to do when tribulation comes his way? When he doing what he's supposed to do, and anguish and hard things hit him, what he going to do? He going to fall away? He going to roll up in a little ball, not do his job? I'm too hurt. Mm-hmm. No, that's not how you pick your captains. And guess what? You might fall. The Rock fell like that. Kiefer, he fell. But that was a lesson. Righteous men get back up 7 times.
Mm-hmm. Verse 10, And when you come near unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. And it shall be, if it make you answer of peace and open unto you, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto you, and they shall serve you. And if it will make no peace with you, but will make war against you, then you shall besiege it. And when Yahweh your Elohim has delivered it into your hands, you shall smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. But the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, you shall take unto yourself, and you shall eat the spoil of your enemies which Yahweh your Elohim has given you. Thus shall you do unto all the cities which are very far off from you, which are not of the cities of these nations.
All right. So when it talks about making a covenant and dealing with the people of other nations, we're not supposed to deal with the people of other nations. But when it talks about the people right around us, when he told us to go into that land, he told us to kill off all the people, the men, children, women, even the animals, everything, because there was just an evil spirit on those people. And in that land, they were defiled. But here, It's talking about people that stay afar off from you. He's not talking about Israel, because you ain't supposed to be fighting your brother. You're not supposed to avenge a grudge against your brother. So we know he ain't talking about that. He's talking about women and people of other nations farther away. And he's telling you the law pertaining to that. So when you have people trying to say, oh, you know, you can't marry this person, you can't marry that person, and they bring up that old situation, they're talking about you supposed to kill those people. That's the Canaanite nations. Those people there, because those people will cause you not to serve your Elohim. These other nations, even though I don't, say that you should go out there and start to be with all these other women of other nations, but it's giving you the law pertaining to how you deal with other people. So when people try to tell you things, make sure you understand what the law is. At least you know what's righteousness, and then you can make a diligent decision on your own.
Verse 16. But of the cities of these people which Yahweh your Elohim does give you for an inheritance, you shall save alive nothing that breathes.
Nothing.
But you shall utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites and the Amorites, the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you.
And you can see these people right here. These are the nations that Yahweh said kill them all. How are you going to marry somebody in this nation if you're supposed to kill them? So we know that you can't marry these people. So this is who he was talking about by not having keeping these people alive. These 7 nations are the ones they said do not touch. So when they were talking about that whole situation with Ezra and all that, that's when they came back into the land and started building in the land and started taking women of these nations around the land. If you go back and read those chapters in Ezra, it wasn't talking about killing somebody because he took a woman of Ethiopia or he took a woman of one of these other nations far, or even Egypt. He never had a problem with that. He never had a problem with that. But when it came to these nations right here, this is what he said, kill those people off.
Verse 18, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations which they have done unto their gods. So should you sin against Yahweh your Elohim. When you shall besiege a city a long time and making war against it, you shall not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for you may eat of them, and you shall not cut them down, for a tree of the field is a man's life to employ them in the siege. Only the trees which you know that they be not trees for meat, you shall destroy and cut them down, and you shall build bulwarks against the city that makes war with you until it be subdued.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to Devarim chapter 1, Deuteronomy chapter 1. So how we act in times of adversity affects other people. So we're going to see a situation of how Yah will deal with us with that.
Devarim chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moshe spoke unto all Yasharal on this side Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, and Hazeroth, and Dizahab. These are 11 days' journey from Horeb by the way of Mount Kir unto Kadesh Barnea. And it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Moshe spoke unto the children of Yasharal according unto all that Yahweh had given him in commandment unto them. After he had slain Sihon, the king of the Amorites, which dwelt in Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, which dwelt at Ashtaroth in Edrei. On this side of Jordan, in the land of Moab, began Moshe to declare this law, saying, Yahweh our Elohim spoke unto us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough in this mount. Turn you, and take your journey, and go to the mount of the Amorites, and unto all the places near thereunto, in the plain, in the hills, and in the vale, and in the south by the seaside, to the land of the Canaanites, and unto Lebanon, unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahweh swore unto your fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them. And I spoke unto you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. Yahweh your Elohim has multiplied you, and behold, you are this day as the stars of heaven for multitude. Yahweh Elohim of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many as more as you are, and bless you as he has promised you. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife? Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. And you answered me and said, the thing which you have spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes. And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him. You shall not respect persons in judgment, but you shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is Elohim's, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it.
That's the same thing you just were talking about.
And I commanded you at that time all the things which you should do. And when we departed from Horeb, we went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which you saw by the way of the mountain of the Amorites, as Yahweh our Elohim commanded us, and we came to Kadesh Barnea. And I said unto you, you are come unto the mountain of the Amorites, which Yahweh our Elohim does give unto us. Behold, Yahweh your Elohim has set the land before you. Go up and possess it, as Yahweh Elohim of your fathers has said unto you. Fear not, neither be discouraged. And you came near unto me, every one of you, and said, we will send men before us, and they shall search us out the land, and bring us word again by what way we must go up, and into what cities we shall come. And the saying pleased me well, and I took 12 men of you, one of a tribe, and they returned and went up into the mountain, and came unto the valley of Eshcol, and searched it out. And they took of the fruit of the land in their hands, and brought it down unto us, and brought us word again, and said, it is a good land, which Yahweh Elohim does give us. Notwithstanding, you would not go up, but rebelled against the commandment of Yahweh your Elohim. The people is greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to heaven. And the moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakims there. Then I said unto you, dread not, neither be afraid of them.
So we just got free. That shows you how carnal we are. We just got free from Egypt by miracles, basically. Not by, some outsmarting somebody or being stronger. Miracles. And we are brought into the wilderness and brought to enter into the land. That's the whole reason we're free. And because we see some tall, brothers that look like they want to, danger in a group, we ready to turn against Yah and rebel against him. That shows you what's in control. Your flesh is in control or your spirit's in control. Even when your own common sense and your own spirit and everything can show you that, nah, this is not right. That feeling, that emotion of fear in us can cause us to let up and slacken on the righteousness that we're supposed to do. And we got to be careful. And the only way you're going to overcome that is to practice overcoming that feeling. And overcoming that feeling is these adversities. You face an adversity every time you got to make a decision between doing right or wrong. And doing wrong seems like a more beneficial thing. That's that same feeling. That's that fear of not getting what you want. That fainting in adversity. If we practice in those moments on these little things, that is not going to be the end of the world thing. Then we can learn to overcome that feeling so that when we come against those great charges and those great situations and trials, we have the power and the experience to know how to overcome that feeling and try